Members of the class of 2012, parents and family members, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty and administrative colleagues, welcome to this 191st edition of Colby's commencement ceremonies. We've been doing this kind of thing for a long, long time, since 1821 to be exact, but each time is special, for each time celebrates the achievements and futures of a unique group of Colby students. Today is no different. We gather here at the heart of the college to acknowledge, to praise, and to say farewell. Thanks to all who have journeyed from afar to be with us. Many of those who have made that journey are parents, grandparents, and other family members whose steady support has made the achievements of these students possible. We salute you, and we thank you for your efforts. At times, I know it must have seemed like the end would never come, but now it has, and I know that your students are also grateful for your support. There is another group here that deserves the praise and thanks of our graduates. We know how many kinds of things you've done while at Colby, but none were more important than those you did in the classroom and other places where the mission of the college was in view. And in those places, none were more important to your growth than the faculty who taught and counseled you. I know that your parents and the faculty present today would appreciate your recognition and applause. Because this day is about students and their accomplishments, it is fitting that we begin this commencement program with the address of the person chosen by the senior class to speak on its behalf. To introduce that person, I am pleased to call forward the officers of this distinguished class. They need no introduction to the students here, but for others, I will observe that they are well suited to represent the students we honor here today. Justin Partridge from Groton, Massachusetts, majored in biology with a concentration in cell and molecular biology, and minored in art. Active in student government, Justin was also a rower and plans on going to dental school next year. Tracy Tomlinson from Mercer Island, Washington, is a double major in global studies and philosophy. In addition to her involvement with the Student Government Association, Tracy was a member of the Colby golf team, a COOT leader, and served as a peer mentor in the Career Center. Please welcome the officers of the class of 2012, Justin and Tracy.
So we've been spending a lot of time thinking about what we wanted to say to you today, and we came up with lots of wonderful life advice to pass on to you.
But then we realized that we don't actually know too much about life beyond Colby.
So instead, we're going to leave that up to everybody else speaking to you today, and we're going to reflect briefly on the past 4 years before we introduce our wonderful class speaker.
We've gotten to know each other pretty well since we were freshmen, whether it was in the classroom, on the field, in the pub, at an infamous Colby dance. Tracy and I have had a really incredible time planning what we hope was a memorable senior year for you all, or maybe not so memorable as this past week has demonstrated for some. Regardless, the time we have spent together as a class has undoubtedly brought us closer.
It is this sense of community that we'll remember most about Colby and the class of 2012. We've been through a lot together, some good times and some bad, during our 4 years on the Hill. And because of these experiences, we believe we've truly learned what it means to be a community. We've embodied this spirit of community at sunrise on Doghead morning, when we gathered here on April 12th, our freshman year, or voiced our concerns about prohibitions, part 1 and 2. In fact, even before coming to the Hill, we began cultivating this community via our class's Facebook page, all thanks to our very own Liz Tull.
After we leave here today, we ask that you don't forget this spirit that has made Colby such a special place and has made this particular group of seniors so unforgettable. Today, it is our distinct pleasure to introduce one of these unforgettable individuals as our class speaker. Sam Deeran, reigning from Falmouth, Maine, has added to Colby's sense of humor through his involvement with improv, the Echo, Inside Colby, and the Libel. His humor is contagious, and the other night we saw just how great of a Bowdoin student he can be.
So, congratulations to all of you. We'll miss you. Keep in touch. And always remember,
Work hard, play harder. Without further ado, please welcome Sam Deeran.
Good morning. I am the Right and Honorable Samuel Charles Deeran. I welcome you one and all to the Comedy Central roast of Tony Blair. I'd introduce my fellow roasters, but I'm sorry to say I have no idea who these people are. But seriously, welcome and good morning to you, trustees, faculty, staff, parents, wind, friends, family, and the class of 2012. Welcome to Maine. I'd like to knight you all honorary Mainers right now with a sure, how you doing there, bub? I'd like to start with some thank yous. Senorita spun me through every emotion known to man, but what I am left with today is gratitude. To the trustees, administration, and alumni, thank you for your stewardship of this institution. Colby would not be Colby without your efforts. To the professors, no matter what the subject material, you taught us what it means to be citizens. Whether we end up as poets, engineers, or economists, we will act as citizens with your lessons in mind. To the parents and guardians, it has been an honor and pleasure to meet with you this weekend. Your love, guidance, and devotion is what got us to where we are today, and so this ceremony I dedicate to you. I can't believe I've been chosen to speak with former Prime Minister Tony Blair. We're sort of a mismatch. It's like your parents took you out to the nicest restaurant in town and ordered you the nicest dish on the menu, and when the waiter came around to see what you wanted for a wine pairing, you asked for a bag of Franzia. And that's how I intend to be today, like Franzia. Sweet, but ultimately disgusting. I'd like the powers that be to know that I expect all the same benefits for speaking as Mr. Tony Blair. That includes a private flight directly following the speech, a fluffernutter sandwich, and a personal playdate with George W. Bush. Now to the students, I want to make a promise to all of you. I promise not to riddle this speech with cheap shout-outs to my favorite clubs and organizations on campus. It's my job to echo the sentiments of our class and to act as the bridge between past and present. I won't try and sting you with some politically correct buzzwords like some sort of PCB. Instead, I want this to be a universal story of Mayflower Hillel. I want to debunk a prevalent myth, and it's that today you will enter the real world. We say that as if tomorrow you will walk back through a wardrobe in your attic the same hazy morning you left for college. And the second you pop out, your mother will scream from downstairs, "Get down here, it's time to sweep the chimney." I use that example because, of course, in my house I sweep the chimney. I do understand the belief that Colby is somehow unreal. With its manicured lawns, trimmed trees, and immaculate brick, it sometimes looks less like a campus and more like an architectural mock-up of a campus on which a wizard cast an enlargement spell. That's right, Colby once had wizards. If you don't believe me, look at what you're wearing. My sophomore year, Colby began to feel particularly unreal. I was failing to imagine how what I was doing at Colby would help me in the real world. And so I began to resent my surroundings. Certain escapist fantasies took hold. So in the fall of my junior year, I dropped out and moved to Los Angeles to pursue a fledgling career as a stand-up comic. Within 2 weeks, I was broke. I applied to over 200 jobs and finally found myself working as a telemarketer. Day after day, the tireless Los Angeles sun was shriveling my soul into a California raisin. While there, I rarely spoke with my family and never with my friends. I thought I was done with that world. After all, it wasn't quite real to me. One day, out of nostalgia, I decided to call a friend from work. So I put on my headset, made sure my boss wasn't listening, and called Mike Rifkin. Hi, Mike, this is Sam from West Direct Marketing in Southern California. Do you have a couple of minutes to talk about a fantastic work-from-home opportunity? To which he quickly replied, sorry, I'm not interested. I realized then how terribly ungrateful and neglectful I had been towards everything that was true and sincere in my world. I had gone on thinking that a magical real world existed somewhere and that I just needed to find it. But I knew then that it wasn't the real world that was lost and needed to be found. I had lost real and genuine motivation, genuine compassion, genuine humor. So I deflated my air mattress, packed my bags, and flew back home to Maine. By the good grace of my dean and my parents, I came back to Colby for Jam Plan. From that day forward, I atoned for my previous apathy with a genuine interest in Colby's hardships and splendors. It's funny, in comedy, when you do well, you kill, and when you do badly, you bomb. Kill and bomb. Both are linguistically tied to death, but to me they mean rebirth. I bombed that semester in Los Angeles as a comedian, but more importantly as a son, a friend, and a student of this fine institution. Time and time again, you've heard from people in positions of authority or prestige that failure is a key ingredient to success. I tell you, in the midst of many ongoing failures, that bombing is more than okay. It's not just something to be endured, it's something to be enjoyed. Bombing, failure of any kind, is exhilarating. It is the quick and decisive determination of what does not work. It is shared, only slightly personal, and makes your world ripe for change. It's wrong to think that there's a distinct world out there that is real. It's insulting to the world you live in. There are many real worlds. Or perhaps to put it best, what is real is sincere. You owe every waking moment your sincerity. Sincerity is the only defense against disinterest, despondency, and alienation, and often it means falling on your face. From this day forth, you will be assaulted with different ideas about reality. We've been told that this generation, armed with only our tweets, texts, and tumblers, will be hapless in the fight against the real world. We've been told that this economy will defeat our generation. The economy, like the real world, is an abstraction. Don't be defeated by facts and figures. Perhaps today we should think less about adapting to the real world and more about adapting the real world to us. I've already seen you transform this world, Colby, according to your own rules, moral dictates of decency and respect. Through our 4 years here, we've discovered our power to transform our reality. See, when we arrived, Colby was a blank canvas. Through 4 years, we've taken that canvas and added texture, tone, shape, and form. The painting we created is a masterpiece of memory, or maybe it's a Jackson Pollock painted with projectile vomit. Today you stand at the edge of a warp in time and space, which will send you off to a new world. I have no doubt you will transform that world as you did this one. In your travels, remember that fame, reputation, and cool are black holes. I urge you to avoid their orbits. I don't know any better than you what your new world will be like. It will be, at first, unreal. My question to you, the class of 2012, is what will you do to make it real? Thank you, and congratulations.